let's go ahead and get started like we usually do. All right, so we're gonna first just be mindful of our body and make sure we're elongating through that spine, feeling the space between our vertebrae as we lift up. Okay, we're gonna chin tuck back for 10. Ready? Begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's make sure we still have that length throughout our spine. Our head turns. We're going to go 5 per side alternating. Ready? And begin. 1, back to center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, warm up is next. All right, we're going to do a 5-minute warm up, 1 minute each exercise. Okay, our first one's going to be our 4-count cherry picker with the arm reach. So if you're doing this from your seated position, your feet are outside the width of your shoulders, so you have room to reach in between. Okay, you're going to reach out, middle, inwards, and then we're going to do an overhead reach up. Okay. Standing, same idea. We're just doing it from our standing position. Let's get ready. We have 1 minute. 3, 2, and 1. So we're reaching outwards, middle, inwards, up. Okay. Go from the side too. So see, my knees are not locked out. There's a slight bend. Okay. And I'm really feeling this stretch through the back side of my body, the back of my legs, my glutes. I'm also feeling the stretch through my shoulders as I reach up overhead. My knuckles out to the sides, right? That's called a neutral arm position. Our next exercise is going to be our 4-count chain breakers. We can do these either seated or standing. It will be the same since it's an upper body exercise. 10 more seconds here, going at your own pace, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, seated or standing. If you're standing, just make sure you're squeezing your glutes. We're going to do a chain breaker. It's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, and then on 4, we open up all the way, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we're getting a nice little stretch through the front of the chest. And we're also activating our upper back. This looks the same seated. You can do it either or. Remember, a lot of times we get weak in our upper back muscles and tight in our chest and shoulder muscles in the front. This is a nice exercise that helps prime the body and kind of undo some of that tightness and weakness and gets us prepared for the exercises to come. Our next exercise is going to be our ham curl with our pull back. So if you're seated, we're toe tapping back as we kind of do like a rowboat row arm. Okay, like we're rowing oars here on a boat. If you're standing, it's more of the heel coming up to the glute. Halfway through this one. Next, we're going to do a side step with an alternating overhead reach. I'm going to show you what that looks like for both seated and standing. I'm going to show the standing variation first. 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to step, reach, step, reach, step, reach. See if you can actually press your heel down to the floor as you do this. You should feel a nice side body stretch all the way up and down the side of the body here, okay? Reach. Seated, reach, 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 okay? So seated or standing here, all inclusive. Pick which one works for you. We just have one more exercise after this. It's gonna be body weight squats. Three, two, and one. Okay, so now we're just putting our heels about shoulder width apart, down, drive up. Really try to think of driving the heels into the ground and squeezing your glutes at the top. I'm trying to keep my belly button pulled back towards my spine, especially squeezed here and pulled back here when I'm in this up motion. I'm really driving through the heels right here. If you're seated, we're doing our alternating leg extension. Excuse me, I'm keeping a flexed foot and I'm really trying to engage the top of my leg here, right here, okay? Or quadricep muscle. So either or here. This is the last exercise in our warm-up. Two, and one. Whew, okay. So go ahead and get a drink, get yourself hydrated while I explain this next block. It's on the 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest timer. And we're gonna do an A, B, C for 2 rounds, 3 exercises for 2 rounds, and then a second set of 3 exercises for 2 rounds. And then we'll put both of those sets of 3 exercises together for 6 exercises, 1 round, okay? So, new one here with an option, okay? So I'll show a seated variation too. It's our, remember how we've been doing our bicep curl to stand, okay? And then finishing off the bicep curl here, right? So this is your option if overhead does not feel good for your shoulders. You're gonna continue with the bicep curl. However, if your shoulders are healthy, they feel okay, we're gonna do a seated press, press, back down, stand, back down, okay? So this is our exercise right here. However, if shoulders are not feeling good, you're gonna do your bicep curl like we've been doing, okay? Now, for your seated option, same thing with the shoulders, either the bicep curl or the overhead shoulder press, but you're gonna press and then give me your leg extensions, okay? Or you're going to curl if the press hurts and give me your leg extensions, okay? After that, we're gonna go into a row to reverse fly. So from seated, and if you have lower back issues, even if you like to stand, you may prefer seating for this one, okay? Row, reverse fly, row, reverse fly. So we're hitting the lats and then also the rear delt. You're gonna base your weight off of what feels comfortable for the reverse fly, okay? So when you're standing, you wanna make sure you're pushing those hips back, soft knee, and nice and straight through that spine, okay? Keep that belly button pulled back. Row, reverse fly, row, reverse fly, okay? After that, we have alternating reverse lunges. You can hold on to the side of our chair or the back of our chair with 2 hands, or do it without them, or we can do our alternating seated leg press right here, okay? There are our first 3. Then we're gonna go into our bow and arrow row. This looks the same, seated or standing. Then we have a goblet squat. So just like our body weight squats in the beginning, but we're gonna go ahead and hold on to our weight right here at our chest. Or we're going to do our alternating leg extension. And finally, a lateral lunge. For the seated variation, we're gonna do our lateral taps. So we work on those that hip abduction. Or you can come out to the side standing, step together, out to the other side, okay? Remember, we're getting a stretch on the lengthened leg. You should feel a stretch in here. And then we're working, let me step in the camera this way a little bit, on this leg here when the knee is bent. Okay, this is the working leg. We're pressing off the heel here. Okay, that's the muscle contraction. The other one's the stretch. All right, guys, enough talking here. 45, 15. We're going to start with that seated overhead press to stand. Remember, seated variation, you'll do your leg extension instead of standing. And if the shoulders are not in favor of the overhead press, give me that bicep curl like we've been doing in past workouts. Let's get ready. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm sitting up nice and tall, length through the spine, press, neutral grip, my knuckles are out to the side, and then I drive up. Okay, press, drive up. Okay, so your spine nice and lengthened when you're doing your press or your bicep curl here. Are those knuckles facing the sides of the wall here? Good. 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. We're going to go into our row to rear delt fly. Okay, so seated or standing here. Remember, don't go so heavy that you can't do your fly. Base your weight off this one right here. Okay, so I'm just pushing those hips back. Nice little neutral bend in the knee. My belly button is back towards my spine the whole time. That's going to help protect my lower back. If you find you're feeling a lot of discomfort in your lower back while we're hinged over for this full 45 seconds, you can either just go ahead and straighten up for a second to relieve some of the pressure, or try it in that seated position, okay? Five more seconds here, and we're gonna prepare for our reverse lunges. Okay, excellent. So my chair doesn't have a back today, but remember with your reverse lunges, you can either hold onto the chair on one side, both sides, or no sides, or we're gonna do our alternating seated leg press. Here we go. So quality and control of movement, okay? We're trying to create a mind-muscle connection. So don't go so fast that momentum takes over and you're missing the muscle contractions in your legs, okay? We should feel the glute and the front of our leg working here. Stay present and stay focused. And remember, hold on to, use your modifiers if you need to, okay? We're more concerned with the quality of our work. 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Okay, we're gonna do those 3 exercises again. So we're back to our seated sit to stand with either the overhead press or the bicep curl. Remember, seated, we can do the alt leg extension. Here we go. Sitting up nice and tall, press, stand it up. This is one of those exercises, our sit to stand here, where it's not directly like this is not, we don't classify this as, oh, you're doing a core exercise, but in reality, you are, okay? It takes a lot of core control to stand up from a seated position with weight in the upper part of your body, okay? And also just to sit, keep that spine nice and upright too. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Back to our reverse fly to row, either seated or standing, okay? Pushing those hips slightly back, nice neutral spine, slight bend in the knee, and I'm pulling that belly button as back towards my spine as I can. Here we go. So the row is our lats, the large back muscles, and the fly is our rear delts, which are the small muscles in the back of our shoulder. Good, 10 more seconds here. Remember to maintain that belly button back towards the spine. And time, good. Now we're gonna go back to our reverse lunges, okay? Remember, for seated, we can do our alternating leg press. We can hold on to both the back of the chair for the most stability standing, a little bit less stability by one side, and the least by doing it without the chair, but maybe just having it close by, okay? Remember, quality over quantity. Sometimes the slower we go helps take momentum out of the movement and switches those muscle fibers on. They have to work harder when we slow it down. They're under more tension. Good. 5 more seconds, then we're gonna start our second set of 3 exercises. And time, good. Okay, so now we're gonna go to our bow and arrow row. Get that rotation, try to keep your hips forward. And we just rotate through this upper body, keeping that elbow, shoulder height, okay, right here. It looks the same seated. And if you find you're doing this standing, but you're having a hard time keeping your hips forward, like if you find this is happening and your hip is twisting back, do it seated, because when you're in that seated position, your hips won't be allowed to go back, okay? So it takes you having to focus on stopping that from happening out of the equation. Two and one. Okay. Next we have our ground two. Oh no, I'm sorry. We have our goblet squat. I was like, wait, I don't remember explaining that one. So we're gonna grab a weight. We're gonna hold it here at our chest. Heels are about hip width apart. Okay. We're gonna take it down to where our body allows us to, and then press through those heels. Okay. It's very important that the heels stay in contact on the floor here, because we want to press those heels into the floor to help assist us up. Keeping that navel pulled back to the spine. And really talking, okay, stay focused and talk to your glutes. When you're lifting up, talk about squeezing them to yourself, okay? Remember, if you're seated, you're gonna be doing an alternating leg extension with a flexed foot, and you're talking to the quadriceps, that muscle right here in the front. 2 and 1, okay. Lateral lunges are next. Remember, if we're seated, we can do the alternating lateral tap here, okay? Or we can step it out to the side. Here we go. Step it out, return, other side. I'm off the camera here, but you get the picture. Let me show you from the side. Step it out so you see I've got this bend. I'm slightly leaned forward, driving through, and then the other side. You can hold onto your chair here too, okay? Always keep in mind, we're looking for the quality of our movement. So slow it down so you feel like you're really feeling what you're doing, right? If we go too fast, it's just kind of like you miss the muscle contraction. And time, good. Woo, again, bow and arrow row, okay? So like I said, if you find your hips are twisting when you're standing, your hips can't twist when you're seated, okay? So give this a go if you find that that's happening to you. It doesn't change anything about the exercise. It's important that we're thinking of that elbow pulling back, and we're following our elbow with our eyes. Think about how this can improve our thoracic mobility and our ability to reach behind us Okay, put on a seat belt, you know, grab something from somebody who's trying to hand something behind you, you know. As well as improve our posture. Okay, multi-benefit. 2 and 1. Okay, back to our goblet squats. Remember, if you're seated, you can still hold your weight here. You're gonna do that flexed foot leg extension, and you're gonna talk to the top of your leg, okay? Right? Wait, heels are about shoulder width apart. Sink it down, press through those heels up, right? And we're trying to keep those knees pushed outwards. So if you feel they're starting to cave inwards, talk to your legs, talk to your knees and say, nope, not allowed to do that. Okay, you gotta press them outwards. Halfway. And then we're back to our lateral lunges. 10 more seconds here. And time, nice work, okay? So remember with these lateral lunges, if you feel like your balance is off here a little bit, hold on to that chair or go to your seated abduction taps here, okay? All right, here we go. I'm just too close to the camera to get all of me on it. Halfway, and then we go all the way to the top. We just got one more set of all 6 exercises. Let's keep it going there. Where's my timer? I stepped on my timer and I paused it, guys. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going back to the top. Last time through with this block, we're gonna do our seated overhead press to stand, or you can do that bicep curl in lieu of the overhead press if it hurts your shoulders. Ready? Begin. Press. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall through that spine, right? You're really elongated, creating that space between your vertebrae. Belly button is pulled in. Woo-hoo. We have our row to rear delt fly next. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, nice work. Feeling this last set here. So remember, now we can do our row to rear delt fly either seated or standing. Okay, we're standing, pushing those hips back, slight bend in the knee, neutral spine, belly button to spine, row it, and then fly. I'm trying to look at a neutral point on the floor to keep my neck in line with the rest of my spine. Okay, so I'm not doing this, right? And I'm not doing this. See how my neck all of a sudden is not in line with my spine, but here, it's like a sliding board, right? We want it to gradually go down the slope. Belly button pulled back. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Reverse lunges are next, or you're alternating seated leg extension for a seated variation. 3, 2, and 1. Remember, use your chair for assistance if you need it. Got a couple different ways you can angle that chair to help yourself out. Remember, we're looking for mind muscle connection. We want to feel the leg muscles contracting here. So stay very present in that area of your body. And use the assistance. If you feel like you're not feeling it because you're focused on balancing too much, hold on to the chair so that you don't have to focus on the balance as much and you can focus on building the muscle a little more. 2 and 1. Excellent. Bow and arrow row is next, okay? Woo. Be on this set. Seated or standing. Let's get ready. In 3, 2, and 1. Show from a side profile too. Remember, we're making sure we keep those elbows up in line with our shoulder. We don't want them to drop lower. And we follow our elbow with our eyes. Hips stay forward. Feel that mobility through our thoracic spine, as well as aiding in posture. Shoulder strength. 5 more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, moving right along, we're back to our goblet squat. Okay, so feet are about shoulder width apart, slight flare out with the toes, not huge, but just a little bit because we want our knees to stay in line with those toes. Here we go. I'm gonna lower it down and drive it up through the heels. I'm really squeezing my glutes here. Remember, if you're seated, you're alternating your leg extension and you're engaging the front of your thigh with a flexed foot. Think of the quality of your movement and that mind-muscle connection. Is your belly button pulled back towards your spine? Let's do little check-ins with yourself. 10 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, okay. Last exercise in this block is our alternating lateral lunge, where you can do the seated with our alternating abduction. Deep breath. Here we go. Step it out. Right. So we get a stretch on the lengthened leg, right? We get a stretch right here. And we get a, let's see, I can get a contraction right here. I'm trying to get that part of my body on the camera. Halfway, we have a recovery after this as we move on to our next block, okay? Two and 1. Okay, so recovered here, guys. That was an 18-minute block. That was our longest block. We have 2 more. Our next one is going to be a 10-minute block. And we're going to cycle through 3 exercises, 40 seconds of work, 10 seconds recovery, 3 upper body moves, and 1 total body move, okay? We're going to start with our goalpost flies here, okay? So this can be done with a body weight here as knuckles pull back, okay? Or water bottles or 1-pound dumbbells. I really wouldn't go too much over that, okay? Because we're just working on mobility and mechanics and mind-muscle connection. After that, we're going to move into our ground to overhead. So we can take either 1 dumbbell. This is a heavier dumbbell, so I have 1 here, and I'm holding it lengthwise, okay? Seated variation is we pick it up off the floor, pick it up, we put it away on the shelf, right? Pick it up, put it on the shelf, okay? And then from the floor, we're going to go from this angle right here. Toes are forward, heels are outside the width of the shoulder. Pick it up off the floor, belly button is pulled back to spine. All right, so we're gonna pick it up, we're gonna drive through the heels, get the glutes involved, and then put it on the shelf, okay? When I put it on the shelf, I wanna maintain that glute squeeze, and I also wanna make sure I'm pulling back with my core, okay? That'll give us the most strength to put that on the shelf. Now, if that does not work for you, the overhead, we're going to pick it up, bicep curl, okay? Pick it up, bicep curl, okay? You can just omit the overhead pressing if you have injury or limitation, okay? All right, so we've got our goalpost fly, ground overhead, hammer curls, okay? And then tricep kickbacks, okay? 3 sets of those 3 exercises working on some upper body sculpting and 1 total body to kind of get that heart rate going too. All right, guys, 40 seconds here. And we start with our goalpost fly, either seated or standing in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm doing this, I'm tucking my pelvis, I'm squeezing here, okay? And then I'm keeping those elbows up shoulder height. And I'm thinking about almost like I'm a nutcracker, right? As my elbows come out to the sides and my shoulder blades pinch and squeeze together. Think about if you were like cracking a walnut, how your shoulder blades right in the back, you know, on either side of your spine would be crushing that walnut. Okay, you should feel a nice stretch along the front side here. And we're contracting in the upper back and the shoulders here. And time, okay? Next one is our ground to overhead, okay? So remember, you can do the seated or standing, toes are forward, shoulder width apart, okay? This mimics right here, right? We're gonna pick it up, core engaged, squeeze the glutes, core engaged, put it on the shelf. You can give me a bicep curl. If that is no bueno for the shoulders. So right here, belly button's pulled back, driving through the heels, keeping the glutes engaged. Belly button is still pulled back. Two, and 1. Okay, moving on to hammer curls. These can be seated or standing. Keeping that belly button pulled back, glutes engaged. Okay, and we're just focused on that muscle in the front of the upper arm. Imagine that you're pulling your weights up through like something thick, like honey, right? That you're trying to pull that weight up. You can actually get a more of a muscle contraction. Say you're like, oh, the highest I have is 3-pound weights, but I know I can do 5 pounds. Then just create that extra resistance with your mind, right? Really think about pulling through that honey, okay? Nice little trick. Okay. Tricep kickbacks are next. Okay, so now the back of the arm, just like our row to reverse fly, and standing position, okay, right here. And same if you're seated, you can just do this from a seated position as well. We're really squeezing the tricep when the elbow is lengthened. And still think of pulling those dumbbells through honey, right? You've got to create the extra resistance with your mind. Keeping the core pulled back, belly button to spine, right? Neutral position with the head, so it stays in line with the spine. 2, and 1. That's round 1. We're going to go back to the top, starting with our goalpost fly, body weight or 1 pound or less, I would say here, okay? Squeezing your glutes, core is tight. Think of cracking that nut in between our shoulder blades. Maybe this would be a new way they make Christmas nutcrackers, right? the fit Christmas nutcracker, right? Instead of the hungry one. Good. 5 more seconds here. We're going to go back to that ground to overhead. And time. Okay, remember if you're seated, you can just simply do this with your feet forward, heels right outside the shoulders. I'm going to pick the box up off the floor. and put it on the shelf, okay? Omit that overhead press and just keep it to a bicep curl if it's painful for your shoulders, okay? Understanding the difference between just a little exercise discomfort, because sometimes exercise is uncomfortable to do, but also knowing, when to pull back because it's acute pain and your body telling you, if you keep on doing this, we might be injured, right? Keep that core engaged, glutes engaged, so you drive it up. And time, good. Moving back into our hammer curls, so our knuckles are out to the side here. 2 and 1, seated or standing here. Just make sure you're squeezing your glutes, tucking your pelvis if you're standing here. Think of that honey. You're pulling these dumbbells up through thick, sticky honey. Oh, that takes work, right? Ten more seconds. 5. And time. Okay. Tricep kickbacks are next, okay? Just at the front of the arm. Now we're gonna get the back. Okay, so if you're standing, we're just gonna go ahead and pop into our stands here. We're going to keep the elbows up towards the rib cage as we kick back. Still thinking of driving through that honey, right? We're pushing these dumbbells through the honey. That belly button pulled back, neutral spine, including the neck. Woo, okay, that's round 2. One more time through, guys. Okay, get your drinks if you need them. It's okay if you start a little late, stop a little early to get one. We're back on. I need a drink though. Right? It's okay. That timer is just there to keep us on time. But we always listen to what our body needs, right? I needed a drink, so it's like, okay, timer, you keep going. I'll catch back up. Right, so improving posture and shoulder mobility with our goalpost fly here. 2 and 1. Last time doing those. Last set of our round overhead. Picking up that box and putting it away, right? Okay, seated or standing. 1 dumbbell or 2. Okay, mine's just a little heavier here, so I'm just opting for 1. Picking it up, using my glutes, right? Putting it away. Still using my glutes. Even when I'm putting it away, I keep them squeezed. Think of your trunk, the trunk of your body, being your glutes and your core as your stable base to all of your movements, right? Your strong foundation. Just 10 more seconds here. And time, okay. Hammer curls, back to the arms here. For the next 2 exercises, seated or standing. If you're standing, keep those glutes tight. And we're pulling these weights through honey. Ten more seconds here. 2 and 1. Nice job. We're going to finish off with our tricep kickbacks for the second block, okay? Just got one more finisher block after this. Here we go. So bend over if I'm standing, pushing those hips back, right? Slight bend in the knee. Still moving these dumbbells through honey. Keeping that belly button pulled back towards my spine. Keeping my neck in line with my spine. Three, two, and one. All right, nice work. Let's recover here, okay? We've got one more block to go through. It's going to be a 30-10, and we're just doing 2 exercises, and it just so happens they were exercises we did in our warm-up. So we're going to work on our body weight squats, okay? So this is going to help work on our heart as well as our lower body, our endurance, okay? Our ability to keep on going without getting tired, okay? So heel shoulder width apart, you guys know, right? Body weight squats. You can make this a sit squat if you prefer it too, okay? You can have an option there. And remember, if you're seated, we're on that alternating leg extension. Our second exercise is going to be our side step and reach, which we did in our warm up, okay? So we're going to get a little active recovery with our squats here, all right? And this will help loosen us up after all the work we just did as well, okay? So this is our second exercise, 30-10, just 3 rounds, and then we'll cool down, okay? So starting with our body weight squat, okay, and here's my 30-10. All right, let's get ready, seated or standing, leg extensions or squat. Ready, and begin. Okay, heels are shoulder width apart. And your form really dictates your speed, because once you feel like, yes, I have that form down, you're just going to notice that your body naturally can move a little faster through the movement because it's familiar with the movement pattern, right? If you're still in that learning phase, you know, give yourself some grace and just focus on the quality and slow it down. Okay, driving through my heels, squeezing my core, tucked, right here, squeeze and squeeze, good. All right, that's 30 seconds. We're gonna pair that with our alternating side step. Here we go, ready, begin. So now we're getting this nice side body stretch, right? And that's right, and let's go through the heel of our foot, okay? Tap your heel out to the side. It'll intensify that stretch a little bit. Boy, that feels nice. 10 more seconds here. And time, okay? Second round, back to our squats, all right? Or your seated leg extension. And you can even do a little bit of both, okay? Here we go, squat. Go through your checklist. Are my heels pushing into the ground as I elevate? Are my glutes engaging as I'm lifting up? Is my belly button pulled back the whole time? Are my knees staying outwards instead of caving inwards, right? 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. All right, going back to our side steps. In 3, 2, and 1. Side step and reach with that heel down. I can't seem to remember that one, but it feels, you know, and a toe tap just works for your body. Like you tap with your toes like this versus your heel, the full foot down. That's fine. I'm just noticing that I feel a greater stretch through my side body with the full foot down, heel included. We just have one more set of each after this one. 2, and 1. Okay, this is it. Final set of body weight squats. All right, trying to build up that leg endurance, trying to work on that heart. Here we go. Ready? Begin. Do you remember your checklist, the things that you check? heels down, belly button to spine, squeezing the glutes on the way up, knees out to the side, right? 2, 1. See, if we feel the knees kind of wanting to do this when we're coming down, that's when we really want to say, okay, no, you're not allowed to do that. Let's try to push them out to the best of your ability. Here we go. Last exercise, last 30 seconds here. Enjoy this active recovery dynamic stretch here. Really like this because it goes all the way down to the psoas, down to our hip, all the way up through the shoulder. So it hits our 3 body anchors, which are our hip, our core, and our shoulders. And time. Okay. Nice work, guys. Go ahead and get a drink. We're going to do a brief cool down here. Okay. And we're going to go on the timer for this one. So we're going to do cat-cows. You can either do them seated or you can put your palms on your chair. And we're just going to roll through our cat-cows for 30 seconds. Okay. And then we're going to, standing, we're going to alternate our hamstring stretches, okay? So do these slow. We're not trying to go real fast with these, okay? And see how I'm slightly coming out to the side, okay? I'm slightly coming out to the side, and that's to give you better sense of balance. You can also hold on to the side of something or hold on to a chair in front of you if that gives you a little more support. But what happens is if you start doing these right out in front, we don't have this a wide, we don't have as much balance because we're too close together here. But if we do this, all of a sudden it's easier for us to stay in that position without feeling like you're gonna, shift to one side or the other, okay? And then our third exercise is going to be our forward fold over a chair. And grab it. I was like, oh, I only need this one, but I wasn't thinking about a cool down. So, and we're just going to fold and come up, step, step, step back, fold, step, step. Okay, so we're cooling down with dynamic stretches. Keep them slow. We're not trying to go fast and get dizzy through them, okay? So let's go ahead and start with our cat-cow. Here we go. Just 2 sets of each. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so we're hinged on our chair. We're just gently giving the spine some movement here. Ten more seconds. 2, and 1. Okay. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this one holding onto the side of the chair here. Okay, we're going to just go ahead and hinge, right? Lengthen leg. I'm feeling a stretch through the back of this leg. Come up. Hinge, okay? So I'm simultaneously bending one knee and lengthening the other. Remember, this is not about being fast. You can hold your stretch for about 3 seconds, okay? 1, 2, 3, and up, okay? Something like that. And last one here. And now we're gonna go into our forward fold. This is like a modified down dog in yoga, right? So we're gonna get this nice shoulder stretch. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I'm gonna walk it back. I'm gonna hinge. I'm gonna try to bring my ears in between my elbows, right? And then from there, I'm gently gonna walk it forward, step, step, and then walk it back, step, step, and hinge again, okay? So we're getting this stretch through our lower back and our shoulder complex dynamically. And time, one more set of each, okay? Back to our cat-cow, okay? Palms on the chair. Here we go. So feel as you arc up, feel your rib cage and all of those muscles in your back stretching and lengthening. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're gonna get our legs with our alternating hamstring stretch. All right, we can hold on to the side of something. You can hold on to the front too, okay? Here we go. We're gonna go ahead and step forward with 1. I'm feeling the stretch through the leg here. And then I'm just coming back up so I can alternate. Remember, we're kicking that leg out slightly to the side for better balance and control, right? We have a wider base of support when we do that. Just feel a nice little 1, 2, 3, stretch through the leg. 1, 2, 3, up, right? We're not going too fast. This is our cool down, good. And now our dynamic forward fold here. Here we go. So palms are on the back of our chair and we're forward folding. We're trying to make a 90-degree bend through our hips. And then we're going to bring it together. Step, 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 back. Step, 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 back. Step, step, and step back. All right, guys. Nice job. Different style cool down today. Let's go ahead and take 2 big inhales up. So we're going to go ahead and inhale up. Palms together. Exhale. Hands to heart. One more time. Inhale up. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. All right.